And race 3 about to get underway thanks to Complex Space and Advanced Energy, and it's been a ripper of a weekend so far. The third and final race has Alan Simonson on pole, Scott Bargwanna alongside him, John Chule and Mark Eddy, Ross Lilly, Hector Lester, Andrew Taplin and Dave Stevens rounding out the top 8.
It's been a fairly dominant performance by Simonson in qualifying races 1 and 2, but the real battles have been further back in the pack. The one in race 2 for third position was a rip snorter as the cars come onto the main straight.
And this is take 3 of that battle for the final podium spot. I can't wait. Look at Bargwanna, sneaky. No, Simonson plants it, disappears off into the distance. That was a great start by Alan Simonson.
Yeah, Clark of the course says you must maintain 80 kilometres an hour all the way as the cars pound off the curbs as they head through turns 1 and 2. Ferrari's in the air.
Until they wave the green flag. Look at this. Oh, Bargwanna snatches a break right up behind Simonson. I thought he was going to drill in there. Great driving to manage to avoid a collision.
Oh, and it continues it along. Scott knows that early on in this race is his best chance to get in front of Alan Simonson, but at this point in time his measure's there. But back to the restart, Grant. The clerk of the course says you must maintain 80 kilometres an hour. There has been some issues in the past with those restart rules, but on that particular occasion there was a small jump and Alan got away. As Scott looks for the inside into turn 8. Is he firing up alongside? No, Simonson shuts the door.
Oh, I thought he may have had him, but he might get him down into turn 9. Pulls out of the slipstream. Once again, Simonson very solid under brakes. Look at Mark Eddy. He's right up into this battle too.
Yeah, great job by Mark Eddy. Really coming to terms with the Lambo after stepping out of Ferrari, and he's doing a great job in race 3.
What an interesting start to this race. There's Eddy sitting back there in third, Ross Lilly right behind. Hector Lester not done with this weekend as well.
No, Hector's done a great job, considering he only comes to Australia a couple of times a year, just for the celebrity races, if you like, but hopefully we'll see more of Hector in years to come.
He's a great guy, really good attitude to life and particularly to motorsport too, so the more we see him out there, the better. There he is on your screen, the 21 car.
Yeah, Hector obviously racing in the British GT and some rounds of the FIA GT3 Championship as well.
And the man who's leading the race is usually his teammate, so he's in reasonable hands. Look at this, Bargwanna really applying the pressure. I think Simonson will actually be enjoying this weekend to have this sort of competition from a guy who just doesn't make mistakes in the race car.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Scott Bargwanna is reasonably new to racing. Oh, Bargs just grabs a right front wheel as he lunges underneath brakes. But Alan won't know too much about Scott's driving style. They haven't spent much time racing against each other, and having an unknown competitor, a warrior if you like, is part of the thrill.
Simple, Alan. It's good. Very good. That's all you need to know. He knows it too. He's watching in the revision mirror. Oh, it gets very loose, the Ferrari under brakes, but then again so too did the Lotus.
Yeah, the track's changing from year to year, and you can see actually online out to the screen right there that the bumps are particularly bad, and every time you come to a circuit as a race driver, you're looking for subtle changes in the circuit, and watching these cars pitch and dance across the surface show how much this track has changed since I was there last.
Dave Stevens doing a good job. He's trying to get up onto the tail of Ross Lilly, but Lilly's got the measure of him at the moment. Speaking of measures, look at that. That's the biggest gap we've seen so far in this race. It's about 2 or 3 car lengths, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Alan's just controlling the pace and actually used a little bit more curb that time than he has in the past. So there's no doubt that he's aware that Scott's behind him and keeping the pace nice and fast because of that.
It's funny, when you see the Ferrari bouncing across the top of the ripple strips like that, you think that's just no way to treat a Ferrari. But then by the same token, Enzo Ferrari was the one who said, I build cars to race, you choose to drive them on the road.
That's right, or on the curbs or in the air or wherever it is that you want to take them. But Alan using every bit of performance out of that Ferrari just to keep him in the front.
The gap very little between these two, so we're going to see this battle go right down to the checkered flag as well. And the dice right behind for that final podium spot is the one that's going to keep us enthralled right down to the checkered flag. At the moment, Mark Eddy with the upper hand over Ross Lilly, who's staying with him. Then there's a great dice. You've got Dave Stevens having a look down the inside of Hector Lester. Has he done too much, though? Can he arrest the car? Well, he just doesn't. Lester tries to fight back over the top of the ripple strip. Well, he managed to gather it all up, but I think there may have just been a a slight percentage of luck in that one.
For years and years, we've watched cars get hooked up on the exit curb of turn 9 there, and the curb is so sharp, so steep that the underbelly, the main plane of the car gets caught up, and both rear wheels end up spinning, and the car slews sideways, exactly as we saw there. But it was a great move and well executed in the end.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you do it as long as you get it done, and Dave Stevens did exactly that. Well done. Well done indeed. Look at that, how you're talking about the bumps. That's the area of the circuit that's had the drivers concerned right across the weekend. In the lead up to turn 3, there is all of those bumps, and that's right on the braking area. It's where the car gets really unsettled.
Particularly in older cars where the ABS system in the racing version is not as pronounced, or sorry, I should say more pronounced than in the current version cars, because those little bumps can trigger the ABS system, which will in many situations actually increase the car's speed in the braking zone. It doesn't stop you any shorter when you hit bumps, and making subtle changes to your style if you're in a car with ABS on those sorts of bumps is incredibly important.
We all know that you know, every racetrack you go to is a compromise in some way, shape or form. How would you describe this place?
This is a massive compromise because you've got everything. Oh no, they're in the pit lane once again.
Simon Middleton, geez, had a tough weekend. He was able to get the car back out there for the final race. Started at the rear of the field, but finds himself down in pit lane. Really disappointed for Simon.
Not to mention that small incident at this part of the track, turn 9 in race 2, but we talked about the setup and how you approach a circuit like Clipsal, because there are low speed corners, and turn 8 obviously one of the most famous fast corners in Australia, and the massive bumps and the big curbs. It's a very tricky place to set a car up for, particularly with regards to suspension settings, and you often find at a place like Clipsal that your fastest race lap is one of the last few that you do.
You know, when you're out on a boat and you hit a bit of wake and the thing sort of bounces, that's exactly what the Ferrari of Alan Simonson looked like there.
But you don't lose too many fillings on a boat.
No, true. Scott Bargwanna still staying with him though. The Lotus is not done with yet. The Urban Arrangements pilot doing a really good job this week, and I think, you know, even though he's come away with a couple of seconds, he's going to walk away from this weekend saying, yeah, I gave it my all.
Keep it going.